So this is a short video where we'll compare and we'll order rational numbers. Remember, rational numbers, we can agree that they're numbers that can be written as a fraction. So we use inequalities to compare, and the two inequalities that we're using in 6th grade are less than and greater than. So during this video, I'll do an example, and then I'll say, now you try. All right. So I've got 3 numbers here, and they're all decimal numbers. And I thought this would be a good review for 6th grade to review place value. So when we're comparing or ordering rational numbers that are in the form of a decimal, you need to know your place values. So remember, we have a decimal point. I've made some numbers with a decimal point, and to the right of the decimal point, that represents parts of a whole number. So we have, to the right, we have 3 tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Tenths, hundredths. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. How am I getting that? Right here. And then to the right, to the left, I think before I said the right, to the left, we have whole numbers. So this one has 0 wholes, this has 1, this has 0. So if I said put these numbers in order from least to greatest, here's how you would do it. You start by comparing the number farthest to the left on each separate number. So this one's 0 ones, this is 1 ones, this is 0 ones. Since this has 1 whole, we know that this is the largest number. So we can go ahead and write that. We can say, my right pen here, I'm going to do a different color. We can say 1.23 or 1 and 23 hundredths is the largest. All right, so that one's taken. But we need to compare the other 2 smaller numbers. 0 and 0, they both have 0 in the ones. And then we go to the tens. We go to the next place value. First we start at the decimal, then we go to the tens and then the hundreds. So they both share this 3 tenths. Then we go to the hundreds. Oh, they both share a 4. So now we need to go to the thousandths position. This has a 2, this has a 1. 2 is bigger than 1, so we know that this number right here is the next largest number. And I know this is review for some, or maybe not so much review for others, or maybe you had it and you kind of remember it, but not really. It's good to go through this, because how else can we compare rational numbers if we don't understand our place values? So that's what we're left with, smallest to the largest, and we did it by looking at place values. So I did one. Now I would like you to try one. I'm going to move these out of the way. So why don't you try these numbers right here? Pause the video and give it a shot. Put these in number from least to greatest. All right, so did you get the same that I did? The least. How did I figure this is out? This is the least. Well, I looked at the ones. They all had a 1. So then I went to the 2s. 2 of them had a 2 in the tenths. This one had a 0. So that was the smallest. Then I had to go to the next decimal place value over. This has a 0. This has a 1. So this is my next smallest. And this was my largest. So that's a little review. And we can do the same thing. If that's ordering, we can also compare. Can't we say 1.023 is less than 1.210? Yeah. So ordering and comparing kind of go hand in hand. Let's look at some more. What about ordering integers? In this case, I chose all negative numbers. So numbers that would be to the left. That would be to the left of 0. All right. Or we could think of this as numbers below 0, whichever one you choose. I like to look at negative numbers. It helps me to think of them as temperatures. So when I look at these temperatures, I would think, well, which one would be the farthest away from 0? Well, 25 negative. It's 25 away from 0. So I'd say negative 25. which one would be the next farthest away from 0? And these are not to scale, I'm just going quickly. Negative 19, then negative 12, and then negative 2. So those are below 0, and as you go below 0, the numbers get smaller. They get smaller. And if you had those same numbers put on the horizontal number line, they would still line up. The smallest number is the farthest number away from 0. Okay? The smallest away from 0. So that's an example of me doing it on the horizontal and the vertical. Now you try and keep thinking farther away from 0, the smaller or the least or the less number it is. I'm going to get rid of some things here. Okay, I did one. Now I'd like you to try one. And when you do this, it might be helpful, or it is helpful, to do either a horizontal or a vertical number line. Can you put those in order from smallest to largest, or largest to smallest, depending on which way you're reading it? So what I did probably what you did. I did it on the horizontal. The farther away from 0, in this case 100, negative 100, is the smallest, followed by negative 75, negative 24, negative 7. If you're talking about temperatures, negative 100 is farther away from 0 or below 0. Negative 75 comes next, then negative 24, then negative 7. I hope this helps a little bit. All right, ordering rational numbers. To order rational numbers can come in different types. This is an improper fraction, another improper, and then we have a decimal. So if we were going to put those numbers on a number line, it would be beneficial, it might be beneficial to turn these numbers into mixed numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. See if you can do it while I pause the video. See if you can turn these improper fractions into mixed numbers. All right, so I took 7/3 and turned it into 2 1/3 positive. Negative 5/2 is negative 2 1/2 negative. And negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So now we can place some of these on the number line. Well, let's just go ahead and put the ones that are simple first. Maybe we'll use this green color. Let's put 0 on. 0 goes for 0, right? Maybe I'll write that above there. Okay, obviously that's 0. Let's put in the next number that's easy to place is negative 2. Let's put negative 2. Negative 2. So we've got this one done, this one done. 7, well, let's do negative 3.25. So negative 3.25 is just a little bit more than 3. So let me get my red back here. So here's negative 3, and it looks like these are in thirds, right? So it's not quite a third, so 0.25 would be about right here, because a third is 0.3. That one's done. Now let's put our other negatives in. 12/4 is negative 3. Oh, this is going to get hard to write. Negative 3.25. And negative 3 is 12/4, right? That's this one. Negative 5/2 is 2 1/2. So that would be about right here. And they don't have to be perfect because we're just trying to find the order. So this one's done. I did that one. And the last one is 2 1/3. 7/3 is 2 1/3. 2 1/3 is right here, or 7/3. So if I said put them in order from least to greatest, that's easy. Now you can say negative 3.25, negative 3, negative 5/2, negative 2, 0, and 7/3. And I could also ask you to give me one statement where you use the symbol for inequality. Let's use greater than, and then give me another statement that's less than. So let's do that. I could say 7/3 is greater than 0. Or I could say -3.25 is less than -3. So ordering and comparing. Let's do a couple that I just did some screenshots from Khan Academy of some that I thought might be a little challenging. So if you see a problem like this and it says choose all that apply, okay? Choose all of them that are correct. All right, so negative and a positive. So can a negative be greater than a positive? No. We know that one's no good. 2/9 is less than 1/9. Well, let's find 2/9 on the number line. Here's 0, 1/9, here's 2/9. So let's put 2/9 on there, and we can see, is 2/9 less than 1/9? No, it's greater than. It's further to the right. So 2/9, we know that's a dud. I'm going to give it the old slash mark for dud. -1/9 and 2/9. Well, let's put in -1/9. Here's -1/9. -1/9. Is that greater than -2/9, which is right here? Yes, it is, because it's closer to 0. So this is our big winner, chicken dinner. So this one would work. Now I would like you to try one. I'm going to move this one out of the way. Let's see how you can do with this one. Pause the video and see how you do. So, is it possible that -2.4 is less than 1.8? Yes. And all of these things might be easier if you visualize a number line, right? If you always visualize a number line and you know where 0 is, you don't need to know where the numbers go exactly. You just know that anything over in the negative is less than anything over in the positive. Next one was -1.8. Is that less than 2.4? Well, 1.8 would be closer to 0. The number closer to 0 has to have the inequality that is like this. It's greater than. So that one's no good. And then the last one, 2.4 is less than 1.8. Well, 2.4 positive would be further away from 0 than 1.8. So it can't be less than, it has to be greater than. So there was only one correct one there. Okay, so I think you probably got practice with these when you did Khan Academy. I think we'll stop the video there. Hopefully it helps you somewhat. Thanks for listening.